Hi everyone, I'm Trish Spencer. Member of City of Alameda.
I'm going to try without that, okay? Raise your hand if you're from Alameda. Okay. Right, if you live in Alameda right now. If you don't live in Alameda right now, okay, I'm going to ask you to put your hands down. And I'm going to ask you, where are you from? Where do you live right now? Because I want to know, if we're doing our job, making sure we're spreading the message when we're doing stuff like this and getting the word out. So if you don't live here, where did you come from to come join us? And thank you.
My name is Alan. I came from the Far East Oakland.
All right. Hey, you came from Oakland. Raise your hand. Thank you for joining us. You're always welcome. Okay, is there anyone here that doesn't live in Alameda or Oakland? Okay, in the back.
I came from San Leandro, and I came here with the Martin Luther King Jr. Freedom Center, and I go to Aspen.
If you're here with the Martin Luther King Freedom Center, stand up. We actually want you to stand up. Share a few words about what work you do, what good work you do.
So the Martin Luther King Jr. Freedom Center was originally founded by Congresswoman Barbara Lee, and we engage middle school, high school students, adults, and elders in our community in civic, educational, public service projects so that all of us can find ways to be meaningfully engaged in our communities and in our lives so that we can develop the capacity to be socially responsible today. Thank you.
And if there's an extra seat near you, try to squeeze in because we got more people joining us, and it's important that everyone have a chance to see this film. Okay, Barbara Lee should be here in a few minutes. I want to share a little bit. Since I've been mayor, I've tried really, really hard to open up Chambers. Chambers is, that's where you are right now. Chambers is not one of those things that you can just rent. We actually need to have, as far as I know, it's the mayor, maybe a council member that can reserve it. And I have had students from different schools that come here and then they do debates and different analysis here from the dais. I think it's a great venue to have young people sit in these chairs and project, and to learn how to project, right? We've also done, this is the third time we've used it as theater. We had an ACLU early on film that we did here maybe it was a couple months ago. It was on the anniversary of when gay marriage became legal in the state here. We happen to have some people that created a movie that live here in town, and we shared it here, and that's similar to what we're doing today, where then after viewing it, we were able to talk to the some people that were in it, and then some people that were part of the directors and the creators of the movie, which is wonderful to use this venue for that work. There's so much more to our city than just, and I could say this, council meetings. So, if you have a film or some event that you think this is a good size and you're looking for a venue, please reach out to me, and I'm happy to, if you can fit it in, I'm happy to be here and to support actually all the good work that happens. And honestly, you don't have to live in Alameda to give me a call to coordinate something. So if you want to show it here and you're looking for a place, feel free to reach out to me. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about Barbara Lee, and many of you know her. She's really an institution in the Bay Area, and honestly much bigger than that, the world, because of her votes. So I wanted to share with you some things that stand out to me about her that I think are inspirational. She was a young single mother of 2 receiving public assistance when she began attending Mills College. Wherever you are in your life, you can always learn more. And we live in a great community. to support you. So to me, that's very inspirational. Then she's, as a student, she stepped up and, okay, let me make sure I get this right. As president of the Merritt College Black Student Union, she invited Congresswoman Shirley Chisholm to speak on campus. And she worked on her campaign, and that was really the beginning, I'm going to say the beginning of her political career that has led her to another thing that I think, I want to make sure I get this one right, because a lot of you know her, but, okay, in 2002, she was Representative Barbara Lee, and she received the Courage of Conscience Award in Boston from the Peace Abbey for her courage to stand alone and vote against the call to war. So the vote, right, the vote, very, very important. But also to me, the takeaway is she stood alone. There are times in life it is important to stand, even if you are in fact standing alone. And there will in fact be people that connect with you. Maybe not at that moment, but over time. Rest assured, you in fact are never alone. You may feel like you're alone, but really you're never alone. And obviously at this point she really is an institution. She will be here momentarily. I know she has a crazy busy schedule. That's really what I wanted to share about her. She is very, very active in the community. She is someone you can always reach out to. And honestly, she will try her hardest to be your voice, and she is willing to stand alone. So thank you for joining us. I'm not sure if anyone has an idea what her timeline is. She going to be here soon, or
We're a few minutes out. She should be here in a minute.
okay, so she should be here any moment. Okay, I'm also going to introduce some people that are here. Sarah Henry, she's our public very lucky to have her. If you come by City Hall, if you came through the front, you're going to see this banner, Hispanic Heritage Month, large above our City Hall. We had one for African American History Month. She did it. She's creating these. You can't get online and find these banners. So she has been creating them, working with the community. So because that is another, I can tell you, council to make sure that everyone feels like they are represented here, that they are at home here. Sarah received a call from a woman who grew up here in town, who is of Hispanic heritage, and she drove past that sign, and she had to give her a call and say, you know what, I've lived in this town my whole life. My father grew up here, and I never felt connected until I saw that banner hanging over City Hall. It is important that we publicly recognize everyone that is part of our community. Councilmember Marilyn Esiashcraft here. I don't know if we have any other elected officials here. If you look around the room, you're going to see these pictures. We did a campaign. Sarah helped with that. It's online. I am Alameda. We asked people to submit pictures of themselves, and then she randomly, I think, just chose these pictures that are here. When you look across, you're going to see the richness of the diversity of our community. You're also going to see behind you these Everyone Belongs Here shields, and they were created by Love Elementary School students who walked here. Unfortunately, that school has now been closed, but they walked here from their school, and they did some event here where they presented them, and at the time, it was like, so they were asking me, where do you put these things? And I go, right back there. So we hung them up as they were here, and I think it's very nice to have them. America, can I say a few words?
Hey everybody, well welcome. I am also looking forward to hearing the Congresswoman give her remarks. Just a week ago Friday, the mayor and I, and most of the rest of our council actually had a a breakfast with Barbara Lee. And, you know, in our country, there's so many times that we get these emails and they say, call your congressional representative, tell them to do this, tell them to do that. And here in our district, we're already there. And we are just so fortunate to be represented by not only Barbara Lee, our congressional representative, but our two stellar senators. Coincidentally, they're all women. But I told the story that I had recently been driving and had my radio on, and there was a documentary playing from a number of years ago, but it was about the roots of the war in Iraq and Afghanistan. I think kind of in relationship to the documentary that Ken Burns has done on Vietnam. If some of you may have seen it, I'm watching it, it's astounding. But they talked about how Congresswoman Lee, for those of you who were around, remember after 2011, 2001, 9/11 in 2001, and everybody was going around with, you know, the flag and their car and all this wave of patriotism. But when the declaration of war was voted on by the Congress, she alone stood and said, no, this is the wrong thing to do. And she was persecuted, the scorn, the attacks on her, and I'd kind of forgotten because the time passes, but they were recounting some of that. But then look at what happened over the years. One by one, people came to realize she knew what was right, what was wrong, what was true, what was false. Some others might have too, but I can tell you, and the mayor knows this, when you're in public office, there's a lot of pressure to go with the flow or the sway of public opinion or what have you, but she wouldn't. She stood up, she took all that attack and abuse, and little by little, others came around until I would say the majority view was she was right all along, and you just, it's horrible to even think of how, well, I mean, it's astonishing to think of how we might have saved so many lives, and that part of the world is still in turmoil today. So we learn from history, we learn from the things that we've done right, we've done wrong, but we in the Bay Area are just so blessed to have Barbara Lee represent us in Congress. And I know all of us, I'm really proud of our city, and you might not all be Alamedans, but we have seen such an outpouring from our community of support for the victims of the horrendous fires in the North Bay. And this is what we do as a community. We come together, we keep our eyes open, we learn where we can do better, how we can do better, but we always are willing to go the extra mile. How can we help? So I was just over at the new college, it's called The Local. You were there earlier in the morning. They did this big collection drive, I think through Alameda Peaks, and they were loading up 2 big trucks to go up to deliver supplies to the folks up there. We were at another event the other night. They were collecting cash for gift cards for like Target and things that people are going to need to get all sorts of supplies. So thank you, Alameda, for being an awesome community. It's lovely to be a part of your leadership. I like to say we're a small town of, what's our population these days, Sarah?
We're almost 87.
We're almost 80,000, but doesn't it feel like a small town? You say hello to people on the streets, and you stop us in the grocery store, which is fine, before I get my Christmas food. You can stop anytime. Anyway, so thank you all for being here.
We still have a few minutes. I do want to share with you, we have a relatively young group, Black Achievers Alliance here in town. Robbie Wilson is our leader, and I shouldn't want to say anything, under her direction, we just held our second Unity picnic, and it's an annual picnic. We're going to do it again next year, and that's something that you all are welcome to, so watch for that. We really, you know, that's one of those things, more the better. All right, here she is, without further ado.
mayor and city council members and officials and all of you on this very important morning to witness and view this very important film. And Jeff, I just want to say thank you for, as we say, stay woke. You know what that means? You all are woke and making me very proud. This movie is extremely important. How many years ago was it now?
Almost 10.
10 years ago, okay. And let me just tell you why I think it's so important now and give you just quickly a brief bit of my history. I was, and many of you know, I was a community worker with the Black Panther Party. I was not a member, but I bagged groceries, I sold newspapers, I helped work on Huey Newton's book. I was Bobby Seale's fundraising coordinator when he ran for mayor of Oakland. I worked with the Panthers on the Shirley Chisholm campaign, and we worked on voter registration drives. And in fact, I think the way the Panther movement helped organize precincts is still a method and a way we need to look at how to organize campaigns. We went door to door. We did phone banking. Victor was my precinct coordinator. We reported in. It was very disciplined, very organized, and Bobby Seale got into the runoff of the election, which led to the election of the first African-American mayor, really, of Oakland, Mayor Lionel Wilson. I was a student at Mills College, president of the Black Student Union during this period. And so a lot of my work with the BSU was work with the Black Panther Party. I helped start the school, and I was involved in many, many projects through Mills College as well as the party. They were all community service related. You know the 10-point program, which really the first breakfast programs for children by the federal government was modeled on the Black Panther Party program. Community clinics, community health center, the first one, the George Jackson Free Medical Center. Sickle cell anemia, no one was even addressing the whole issue of sickle cell anemia, sickle cell disease, until the Black Panther Party started the testing. And so, yeah, their 10-point program is a 10-point program that I say we all need to look at even today, because it was very relevant, it was community-oriented, but yet it did have a political dimension to it because it was the policies of our government that really gave rise to poverty and discrimination and racism and police misconduct. And so while the Panthers were dealing with the big international issues also, they were also serving the community and doing things that really made the community, become closer to the party and become more involved in what they were doing politically. Okay, so what happened during that period, though, and I know this very well, is that because I have my files from the FBI, and I knew what was going on, but I couldn't quite pinpoint it. But COINTELPRO was operative under J. Edgar Hoover, right? This was a terrible, terrible FBI intelligence program, because what they did was they created havoc all over the country. And they came in and had agent provocateurs. They put out fake news, fake information. Fake news. Oh, and then they got party members to turn on each other because of the lies and what took place there. And of course, I know a lot of what took place because I was in the middle of it. And unfortunately, the ramifications of COINTELPRO, I still deal with. So I understand that. Right. And so I'm so pleased that this film was made, but it's still being shown because now, and I brought this, I want you to see this. And we've been meeting with the powers that be. Black identity extremists likely motivated to target law enforcement officers. This is an intelligence assessment by Jeff Sessions of the FBI. Okay? They started another COINTELPRO operation. Okay? And they have identified Black Lives Matter, anyone who associates with Black Lives Matter, Black elected officials, they call it the Black Identity Extremist Movement. And so they're targeting, okay, exactly what they did during COINTELPRO. They're beginning this operation once again. Okay, so this is, and I'm urging, I think it's online, it is declassified, to look at what Jeff Sessions and Donald Trump are doing now. Finally, let me just say, day before yesterday, we met with Cheryl from Facebook. Okay? Senator. The ads that the Russians purchased through Facebook to cause racial hostilities and division are real. They're going to expose and present and release those ads soon. But during the campaign, believe you me, Russia was involved through Facebook in determining the outcome of the election, and as important, determining how we were going to view undocumented immigrants and Black Lives Matter activists and trying to create hostility and anger toward these groups by saying they were un-American because they were violent. And so, you know, this has been taken now to a new level because of social media. So this is COINTELPRO 2017. And so that's why I'm urging you to stay woke, to let us know, let my office know if you see any signs of any of this surveillance taking place. We need a battery of lawyers to help us out, because we know that this can be very dangerous, and that what happened during the Panther period, people got killed as a result of our government trying to stop a progressive social political movement. So thank you again. Enjoy the film, and we'll
Well, thanks everybody, and I want to again thank the Congresswoman for coming and taking time out of the room.
I got here like at 2 a.m. in the morning. This was very important.
Great, I'm Jeff Heyman from the Peralta Community College District, and Jay Calhoun and I put this film together. We're very happy with the turnout here. We really appreciate you guys coming in. I think as the Congresswoman said, that it's timely, unfortunately, again. A few house, well, let me recognize people. One, I want to thank Mayor Sarah Henry, the PIO from the city, for helping put this thing together. We have one more elected official who's joined us, and that's Aaron Weinstein, a trustee from the Oakland Community College District. We also have the president of Laney College. And I also want to point out the Martin Luther King Freedom Center. I know they already said that they came all the way down from Merritt College. So a couple of housekeeping things. It's hot in here. We're sorry about the...
You can open the windows.
Yeah, we can open the window a little bit, but the air quality, maybe not. Yeah. The emergency exits are out this way, just in case. We got bathrooms out that way, if you need to use those. The movie is about 55 minutes, I think it's 50, anyway, under an hour. People can sit down here if they'd like. And then James and I will answer your questions about making the film. Jay has a really unique perspective about it that we'll share with you after the movie. So with that, anything else?
I'm going to turn the lights off so that we can see everything. Great.
Before we start For those of you who have been in the Bay Area and know a little bit about the history of the party, it's imperative, in my opinion, that we all understand there is no total story of the Black Panther Party. There is no one way to tell everything that this organization did for this country, our community, and our people. So what we're offering is a slice. This is Merritt College, this is Peralta's perspective of how important and how influential the Panthers were, but also understand that anything outside of this, any other documentaries you've seen, they're all portions and pieces. Yeah. This organization is way too vast to begin to tell you the whole story of it in 2 hours. Okay? So please understand that we didn't touch on everything. No. We're not sensationalizing stuff. We're trying to tell you the origins, why and how it started at Merritt College.
Thank you, Jay.
Tell us about that music, James.
About that music?
Yeah.
So that name right there, William Calhoun of the Lumpin', that is my father. Again, for those of you who are around and know, every political action or every event that the party had back in the day was opened by what we call PE, which is political education. Political education came in the form of speakers, poets, and my father's band, the Lumpin'. So what they would do is they would take popular songs of the time and put revolutionary lyrics behind it. So it would get you jiving, you know, you're dancing to James Brown, but you're, you know, F the police and that, and you're like, so when we did the movie, we used a bunch of songs from the time. You know, so we had Aretha Franklin, we had Stevie, we had all that. And of course, for those who know, licensing those songs to get played publicly is a bit of a hassle. So we decided to do an original soundtrack. And we used all the songs that my father and the band wrote back in the day in this movie.
All right, we understand sound problems are fixed, but one more thing. Does anyone here know where the title of the band comes from? Who knows? Well, who said it first? Say it.
The Lumpin' Poets?
All right, you get it, DVD, all right.
For those who don't know, Lumpin' Proletariat is part of the
Unemployed and under.
there we go, thank you. But it came from the Russians. So it was understanding from what we read, because we read a lot of stuff back then. I say we because I'm a Panther Cub, so everything they did, I did. We read a lot, you know what I mean? And everything that was really important to the Panthers was about educating yourselves. Not being ignorant, not doing stupid stuff, but actually knowing what you're saying, what you're doing, and why you're doing it. So it wasn't just about rhetoric and dudes with leather jackets and guns. It was really about a serious platform that was heavily influenced by education, and you will see that.
Take a few questions. Jay, I really got to say, this thing was a project that took several years to do, you can imagine. It was pretty rough until this guy got his hands on it.
Three things I want to say to y'all. First and foremost, this movie is available on YouTube for free all day. Merritt College, home of the Black Panthers, and you will find it. For educators in the room, please make sure you get in touch with our department at Peralta Colleges, because we want this as part of your curriculum in your classrooms. We have DVDs, and we will give them to you. For classrooms only. We cannot sell it. It's not really kind of that thing because it's a state function. So we'd rather you watch it for free on YouTube or whatever you got to do on that level. If you're an educator, please get in touch with us and we will send you a copy. Second thing, it's imperative to all y'all young people in this room. All them gray-haired folks you saw out there in the movie screen, they were not gray when they started this. They looked and were the exact same age and power as you all. So do not let our jury dissuade you from knowing that you have a job to do. You have an earnest job that is in front of you right now. If you have ever seen anything else in this life, you will know right now what oppression feels like. We've been going along for about a good 30 years, kind of living in our little bubbles. But now you are seeing. Now you as children will hear what we've been complaining about in the good old days. Now you are seeing what we are talking about. Do not take this for granted. Get off your ass and do something. And this is one of the most important things as a historian and for all of y'all who do know. The guns was a 6-month phenomenon. Hear me. 6 months. The Panthers was an organization from 1967 or 66 to 81 was when the official end of the party was. So 66 to 81, and all we still talk about is 6 months. Okay? Understanding Huey's plight. I want to get your attention. I can't get your attention begging and asking and wanting. I'm going to get your attention by sticking this gun in your face. So that's what happened. But please understand that we were more. We are more, have always been more than a gun-toting revolutionary thugs and a bunch of people on the corner doing stupid shit. We really meant power to the people. Not power to black people, power to all people. Because if there is no power in us, we're useless. What are we doing? In Europe, they were saying, the government feels us. Over here, we don't have it. We got a fear of our government. We are in droves. We are in massive numbers. But we're fearing 4 or 5 people in Washington right now.
That's right.
Because we don't have the understanding of what we can collectively do. So please, take anything. Take all that you have read, take all that you have known, take this documentary, take the other documentaries out there. Please gather your information. Share it. Talk about it. Discuss it. And for y'all young people, use it as a platform to build the next great community that we've ever seen in this world. Okay? Thank you all.
But first off, I want to thank the mayor for opening up the chambers, the City of Alameda. I know people got to go because we're running late, but if you have a few questions, we'll be hanging around after too. So any?
I have one.
Let's go right back into
First, thank you for allowing us to take this page and privilege to be educating us.
Yes, sir.
And on the second thing, I just want to introduce Pamela Price.
No, I was staying with the young lady over here was saying that we just really need to know, like you said, there's only 4 or 5 people who's messing the whole world up. We need to get out there and vote. We need to have the power. We don't have to carry guns. All we got to do is put a check on the box. Well, they say, reach one, teach one, reach one. We have to get out there, 18 and over. Everybody in the household should vote.
Yeah.
Make sure they come back with that little sticker where it says, I voted. Okay?
Go ahead.
So in the film, you know, it talks about Merritt College when it was on Grove Street, but it was moved up to the hills. So and it's not necessarily stated in the film, so from what y'all know, what y'all have heard, why was that? Why was Merritt College moved from the flatlands to the hills?
There's 2 answers to that. The political answer was because it was moved to educate and free up minds to do something more positive than the Oakland High School was a small, rundown thing, and it wasn't efficient enough to run a college. Honestly, we all know what the real was.
Yeah.
They wanted to move it from where the ghetto was. They wanted to move it from where it was most prevalent. They wanted to move it from where people had access to. If all of y'all who don't know where Merritt College is, it's way have this done strategically. And Rashid, as you all know, that's a whole other documentary that we can probably spend. So yeah, that's what happened.
Absolutely, brother.
One more? Go ahead.
I was a history graduate student, so this may be a little nitpicky about the history. And I'm just wondering if anybody here knew a guy by the name of Mark Comfort. Okay, well, what happened was I went to the Oakland Museum exhibit, and I noticed that there was no sign of his presence in the Black Panther Party. I watched the film on PBS. Again, there was no sign of his presence in the Black Panther Party. Again, today, there was no sign of his presence. Well, when I came back from the museum, I did an internet search thinking I might find a newspaper article. Instead, I found something in Wikipedia, which I'll just read a section of. Mark Everett Comfort was a community activist who worked in early Oakland grassroots civil rights movements in the 1960s before moving to Lowndes County, Alabama. He helped in the SNCC Black Panther Project in Lowndes County, Alabama, with security and self-defense against the Ku Klux Klan. He asked Stokely Carmichael if he could use the Panther name and idea to try to spread it. Carmichael told him it, quote, belonged to the people and he should feel free to use it. With permission, he returned to Oakland and started his own Black Panther Project in 1965 called the Oakland Direct Action Committee, ODAC. I don't know if people are familiar with that, and was its head. He later found that other local groups liked the Black Panther name as well. He also started clubs for young black males called the Alm Boy Dukes and the Enchanted Mafians. Mark Comfort was married a white woman, Gloria Black of Oakland. His wife was once blocked from entering a Black Panther Party office by a Panther member. Bobby Seale told the member, "Are you stupid? Let her into that office." Seale felt that if Mark was a Panther, so was his wife. It didn't matter what race she was. Anyway, I just feel that he has been completely left out of any of the historical presentations about the Panther Party, and I just wanted to, make that
As I stated earlier, there are too many stories to tell in an hour and a half. I couldn't tell everybody's story. And to the person you're talking about, there's also this great division within the party that happened. So it was a side of the faction who chose to take this side, and the side who took this side. Mark took the other side. The side I took, we don't deal with Mark. So we don't have his history, we don't have his understanding, we don't have his recollection. But that does not negate what he did, that does not negate his importance, that does not negate all of you doing more research than he did to find out who Mark was and what he meant to the struggle of the people. I think it's imperative, though, that we understand that the Black Panther Party by Bobby and David is an extension. It is not the only organization. We're talking about Toussaint Louverture. We're talking about, Garland. We're talking about X. We're talking about Du Bois. We're talking about histories of resistance against oppression. So all they did was pick up their gauntlet and go, or as we say in the church, they picked up their cross and went and did their job. So to your point, I think it's important that we find out all these heroes and tell their stories. Unfortunately, we didn't do it in ours because we want to take a different spin on it, but I think it's important that we tell that story. Definitely. Thank you.
Thank you.